Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Beaver County Board of Commissioners work session for Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. On the phone, we have Commissioner Amadeo and Commissioner Manning. We have a review of work session discussion meeting minutes. I have no questions or changes.
I have none either. I'm good.
Department head report. Dan Colville.
Good morning. I have a few things. First of all, I spoke with Paul Level yesterday. He's with Becca. And the company was going to donate the material for the stage at the walking loop. The president of the company, he will not approve the donation now because the turnaround for filling orders, stuff that they have, is taking a while now because of COVID-19. And they actually had to sell. They had to sell the material that they were going to donate. Tom is hopeful that he can convince the president once supplies and things get back to normal, he might be able to revisit this. But as of right now, it's a no-go.
Does that stage, I think is what it is, need more work than just the decking?
Yeah, it's going to need, completely. I mean, a foundation, a block foundation.
So it'd be pretty much torn down and a whole new stage. This is at the walking. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were replacing the stage at the lodge. The one there has the wooden planks. This is a whole new stage at the walking loop. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Mr. Plevel, he sends his sincerest apologies. He's apologizes for doing this, but hopefully in the future they can revisit this. Another issue, we are continuing to have issues at the Four Seasons shelter. We have replaced as DPW, as much water line in-house that we can possibly do. We have also installed a pressure pump, and there's simply just not enough water to try to run the pump. If you run the pump without water, it's going to just burn the pump up. I've talked with Tim Ishman in regards to this, and the only other option we may have is shutting the water off. But what's happening is there's so much on busy weekend days with the hydrants. Water's coming to the Four Seasons shelter. So we're thinking if we shut off water service to shelter 17 and 18, that might help us. So with your approval, of course, I spoke with him on this, and he's I don't know if it's going to do the job or not. We're hoping, but in the future we're going to have to discuss going to hold from the beginning of the park to the end.
So Tony and Jack, can you hear what Dan's saying?
No, I was just going to mention, move closer to the front.
I don't want to move it.
Yeah.
Understand, but yeah, what would be alternative long-term solutions to that?
Alternative long-term solution is working with Beaver Falls Water Municipal Authority and a contractor installing a complete new water line through the park. I think what a lot of the problem is through the years there's been repairs made to it. There's some sections at the water line is 2 inches, some are 4 inches, and of course, in order to get pressure, you never want to go up, to a bigger line. You want, if anything, you want to reduce, go from a 6 inch to a 4 inch or something like that. That's what's going to provide you with your pressure, and unfortunately, that's not happening. So I think what like what I was saying is with the Board of Commissioners' blessings, we would like to shut off water service to shelters 17 and 18 and see if that helps at all. And if not, I've talked with Tim and asked him to make sure he discloses to people that are renting this Four Seasons shelter that we're having water issues, there's nothing that we can do about it on our end. There's just simply not enough supply. So, for a quick fix, we'd like to try to shut the water service off to those two shelters, see if that provides more for the Four Seasons. And if that doesn't help, I really will have to revisit this with Director Ishman and of course the Board of Commissioners and try to come up with a solution.
Okay, hey, Dan,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes, sir.
what about a possibility of drilling a well close to the Four Seasons shelter?
We could certainly look into that.
Because the cost of running a new water line would be astronomical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's something I could certainly look into that and find get some numbers and get some information on that.
The water line run from the Four Seasons to 51.
It does.
That road.
It's the main line runs all the way.
All the way along
and
the
it
road.
actually goes up to like the water or the dog park. I'm sorry, 51. But there's service branches. I believe there's 25 different branches off of that line to provide the lodge, the little, we call them hydrants, the little things that people can turn on to get water out of it. A lot of people think they're pumps. They're not. You just lift that up and water comes out. So there's just too much draw off of that main line. So but I can certainly get information for a well.
Do we have leaks somewhere?
Not that we're aware of. We had leaks there last year, and we fixed several leaks. So we're not aware of any leaks. There's nothing surfacing. This has been an ongoing issue for some time now. I don't know that that it was just thought through with the condition of that water line whenever the shelter was put up. So we'll get it figured out one way or another. Just wanted to make you guys aware of the issue, and like I said, get your blessing for trying to shut down 17 and 18 to see if that helps.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
Thank you.
Give it a try.
We'll give it a try and I'll report back. One other issue, we have an underground storage tank at the Department of Public Works facility. It holds the gasoline. 3 years ago, that tank, we have to have that tank tested every 3 years by the DEP. 3 years ago, it failed the cathodic test. So the tank needs replaced. I've worked with the DEP 3 years ago. They gave us a temporary out of service status. But it's been temporary for 3 years. It's time to take action on that. We can't leave it in that status any longer. So we are going to have to remove it. What we have right now is our fuel supplier has graciously gave us an above ground tank to use. And he will continue to do that as long as we continue to buy our gasoline from them. And they are, even without them giving us the tank, they are the lowest bid out of three bids for providing our gasoline. So it's not like they're giving us a tank for in exchange for us buying it. They are the low bid. I will ask DEP. I have a good relationship with Guy Curran. I will ask him if we can buy some time to the 2021 budget so this can be budgeted. It's going to cost approximately $13,000 to $14,000 to do this. And we can't do it in-house. First of all, we don't have the large enough equipment. This tank is 8 foot in diameter and 23 foot long, and it's double walled steel. It's very heavy. We don't have a piece of equipment big enough to lift it. Plus, whenever this tank is being removed, an environmental company has to be on site they're the ones that kind of do this work. They have to be on site to clean the tank or take it away, clean up any type of sludge, and also test the soil. So that $13,000 to $14,000 would include all of that as well. So just wanted to bring you up to speed with that, and that'll be something that I will be including in the 2021 budget if I can get DEP to agree to that. I think I can. If they don't, we might be making a phone call to Corey to see if we can come up with money. Okay.
I'd rather see it done sooner than later.
Mhm.
Actually,
Okay.
before we know we have a problem.
Okay. I do not have anything.
Do you have an update on Economy Park?
Yes, we finally heard back from from the contractor, engineering firm. He is working out a cost on his end, and he's reached out to me twice now. He last Friday he went out to Economy Park to take a look around. So hopefully we hear something from him within the next couple of days.
Is it getting worse out there, or we haven't had much rain? So
Yeah, it's kind of yes. Mhm. Okay.
Any questions for Dan? All right. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Any other department head report? Hearing none, we'll move to solicitor.
Spoke with the tax assessment office today. The reassessment is going well. I know at the law department, we've had no calls as far as any type of complaints. The reassessment office has also said they have had almost next to nothing as far as calls regarding any type of complaints or questions about the reassessment process. Currently, the first group of municipalities that Tyler Technology was out was Vanport, Bridgewater, Beaver Borough, and Rochester Borough. They're just about finished with those. There's a new list of municipalities that the tax assessment office has sent a letter out to and made calls to those municipalities. And those include Monaca Borough, Freedom Borough, Conway, New Swickley Township, East Rochester Borough, New Brighton Borough, and Brighton Township. So those 7 are the next where Tyler Technologies will physically be out in the field doing their in-house or on-site reviews of the properties. We do have 55 resolutions listed for tomorrow. A couple of the highlights of some of them. Number 5 is that deals with the legal representation for CYS. CYS has their own attorneys who represent them. This is a contract for an additional year for Dana Quidis. Number 26 and number 55 with Susquehanna Accounting and Zelenkovsky Axelrod. Those 2 contracts deals with the CARES Act funding. The CARES Act funding is the $14.8 million the county has got from the federal government. In that CARES Act funding, a portion of it can be used for administrative costs. Those 2 entities or contracts for them to assist with the CARES Act funding, both of those are not to exceed $50,000. There's a lot of legwork and paperwork getting this program up and running and getting this money distributed. These 2 companies are going to assist the county in doing that. I think there'll be a little bit more conversation on the CARES Act later in the meeting. Number 32 is the HVAC maintenance for the ice arena. 33 through 35 are just various uses of local organizations utilizing the baseball and softball fields at Brady's Run. 36 is a request for another extension regarding the old Allen Crest property. They're still working through the permits with both DEP, Brighton Township. This extension moves out the closing until November of 2020.
Did they say that they are potentially going to be closing before that, though? It's just an extension, just in case?
Right, they are tracking, according to them, they're tracking for a September closing.
But this just gives them till...
This would give them some extra time.
Thank you.
That's right. While Nate has the floor, he'll explain number 37. It's a it's an odd situation with a property that borders both Beaver and Washington County.
I believe I may have brought this to the commissioner's attention before. Number 37 is an intergovernment agreement between the taxing districts of, some of the taxing districts of Washington County and then some in Beaver County. What we have is a property that straddles the county line between Beaver and Washington County. A gentleman roughly 10 years ago built a new house on his property, and the building of the new house actually caused it to be picked up in the reassessment by Washington County. And as such, Washington County started to tax this property. In fact, both counties were at one point taxing the property. The law department has reviewed which county and thus, school district and local municipality have the right to tax the property. Obviously, you can't be taxed in both. Washington County certainly has the stronger argument. The situation on this property is there is a student who is going into his freshman year at Southside School District. And so really the taxpayer really just wanted to see his son be able to graduate from Southside with his friends who he's grown up with. And so we were able to work out an agreement with Washington County whereby if everything stays the same, Beaver County will tax the property up until 2024, and then at which point then it would be picked up by Washington County. So that's the nature of the intergovernmental agreement, and all of the parties have been very gracious and working together for the best interest of this particular student.
It really involves 6 different taxing bodies, both Beaver and Washington County, Southside School District in Hanover Township in Beaver County, and Burgestown School District and Burgestown
And Hanover.
in Hanover, Washington County.
Right.
So everyone else has signed off on it. We're the last linchpin as far as approving it. Any questions regarding that? If not, I'll move forward. Resolutions 47 through 49 are the Senior Community Center Services Agreements for the facilities in Aliquippa, Baden, and New Brighton. 51 is an agreement with Widmer Engineering for inspections and consult regarding a bridge. It's going to be replaced in Raccoon Township. 53 is the agreement with the union regarding the district attorney staffing. Yesterday at our salary board meeting, we approved having the district attorney's office move from 9 full-time district attorneys to 10 assistant district attorneys, and reducing from 4 part-time assistant district attorneys down to 2 part-time district attorneys at the end of the year. This is just the agreement with the union formalizing that. And then number 54 is a new time clock system here at the courthouse, which will be run through Tyler Technologies. If there's no questions on the resolution, I just would ask for an executive session after the meeting where we don't need to reconvene for real estate matters and also for litigation matters.
Any questions for the law department? Hearing no, we'll move to commissioners' reports. First, I guess I'll go first. The only thing that I have to report is, as Garen said, with resolutions number 26 and 55. These 2 entities are working with other counties throughout the Commonwealth, and the due diligence process and application process for the CARES Act funding. The board was notified that the state did transfer the money to the county, a little over $14 million for the CARES Act funding. We are prioritizing that and hope to have something out next week on the application process for small businesses and nonprofits throughout the county and municipalities. Also, Corey and his team we'll be meeting with our department heads to see where funding is needed throughout the county that relates to COVID-19. Sorry. COVID-19 expenses, absolutely, I'm sorry. And once we did say this before, this money does have to be spent by December 30th of 2020. And I think the project, from what I understood yesterday, has to be complete. This money, we can't have something in mind that we would pay in 2021 that related to COVID. It has to be something current. I know they are working with legislation across the Commonwealth and the federal government to see if those can be delayed. We did discuss yesterday briefly on potentially lobbying our state legislators on trying to get a little bit of an extension on that, because this money was delivered to some counties and some cities that are larger directly from the federal government. So they've had more time than other counties to distribute the monies. So it's something we're working on. The only other thing I would have is the executive session for a contract matter, contractual matter. That's all I have. I don't know if Commissioner Amadeo.
I just wanted to address the CARES Act. Corey Troutman did an excellent job explaining it to us, and we just got a lot of work ahead of us to decide on what our priorities are going to be, as you said. That's all.
Commissioner Manning?
Look forward to trying to get this CARES money out to the people who've really been crushed economically, particularly the small businesses and the nonprofits. So I look forward to continuing to work on that, getting obviously emails and text messages from folks wanting to know the process. So we'll be moving forward with that very quickly to get hopefully get that CARES money out. The only other thing I would just say with the spike in COVID positive cases, I just hope people are paying attention and are socially distancing and wearing masks and paying attention to what's going on out there, because the economic stress doesn't go away until this thing gets under control and dissipates to a certain degree. So I just hope folks are paying attention out there. I apologize, I can't be there in person. It's probably going to be another couple of weeks before I resurface back in the courthouse. But I just wish everyone well and hope they're paying attention to what's going on.
Thank you. Yeah, as Commissioner Manning said, obviously, I think we were all probably approached yesterday by the media outlets to give comments on the additional spikes in the county. And it's tough for us to comment on something that, as Commissioner Amadeus, is such a fluid situation. The report that was out yesterday of 43 new cases in one day. And then we find out that those cases span from a long period of time, delayed in testing coming back. So it's hard for us to give, our opinion or, what we see happening throughout the county. But as Commissioner Manning said, it's important. I think we had a conversation earlier today, Nate and I, about whether you believe in wearing a mask is going to help. You're just doing it out of respect to the others around you. So it's important that we follow these guidelines and do that. On the other hand, I do wish sometimes the media, and we only have one here today, I saw on the front page of the paper said today that 1,000 cases positive. So that's the first thing you see when you wake up in the morning, 1,000 cases over 4 months. We have roughly 162,000 people in the county. I kind of wish the headline would say 0.6% of the population in Beaver County has tested positive, not 1,000 cases. So, we live in a time right now when the media controls and really tells people what's going on. So we just hope that, we try to practice very good transparency throughout the courthouse and all the government. We hope the media does the same, and, they do continue to put out both sides of the story. But, as we always continue to stress, please practice social distancing, please practice washing your hands, sneezing into your elbow. I did read this morning that the federal government approved almost $2 billion contract with Pfizer to put out 100 million doses of a vaccine in December, pending, I guess, the completion of that vaccine, but we're going to have it prepared. So at least there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Any other business? We won't need to reconvene. All right. Any audience participation? Controller Longo.
Couple questions.
You want
So-
you want to come up here so that way they can hear you as well?
I'll talk about it from here. I'll say my
Oh.
six.
That's good.
So number 2, resolution, the exoneration of taxes. Do we have any information on why we're exonerating those?
I don't, it's a cell phone repository. In the future, I'm sure Kevin would provide you
I
that
know, I think
information.
I asked, we got these things. I was asking here, typically they'll ask beforehand.
Do-
Yeah, I don't, yeah, we can find out for you. My guess is a property that's been sitting in the repository, which means that if no one technically owns it, they're trying to buy it.
So this one just bought and they get exonerated what was there.
There was honoring that was in the repository and we put on the rules moving forward.
The other ones is concerning the CARES money. So is there, who's gonna review those applications? Is there a process that you guys, is it these 2 companies?
That's one of the things that we're trying to figure out what to do. I think it's gonna be a combination of both these companies and also some staff here in-house
Okay.
that will be looking at the applications, the follow-up documentation. There's gonna be a lot of legwork that's going to need to be done in some various offices, your office being one of those as well too.
There's funding.
Yeah,
For
well,
the
we, yeah, that's last we like to do with all these companies. They're knowledgeable, they've been doing a lot, but we would like to keep in the loop, especially in the monitoring of it, being that that's part of us, you know. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that was just a question with that. And then concerning answer to your question, we're talking about in the Controllers Association, we get feedback because we've been discussing the same thing about, you know, the dates and everything
Yeah.
and being able to spend the money in the prior year. Is my understanding from the counties and the cities that got the money directly from the federal government, they are not being held to that same criteria as spending it on this year. They're having some leniency and scheduling it. So you could use that.
For
one.
us, yeah.
Yes.
So I
And,
call,
and they're able to use it, the federal government isn't putting the same restrictions on them as the state is. So that might help them talk to the legislators.
that was one of the first questions yesterday was, are guidelines, were they put in by the feds or were they put in by the state? I found out they're put in by the state. So that's whenever I made a couple calls yesterday, but I think we're really, as Tony said yesterday, Caltori, we're going to push through CCAP to try and get CCAP's number 1 priority to be is to have some more time and more, you know, or they just give us the guidelines. But no, the number 2 on the agenda, they'll get the answers for you before tomorrow's meeting. Thank you. Any other audience participation? All right, hearing none, we will move into executive session and not reconvene. Thank you.
Go in peace.